part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Run, William, run! He's got blockers in front. 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs turns disaster into a score! Kick blocked! They blocked the kick!
All right, well, before we get started, I want to talk to you guys about my friends at Newark Auto Body. Newark Auto Body focuses only on collision repair. Other auto body shops are nested within car dealerships or in larger car repair businesses, so auto body repair is not prioritized, and that is not the case at Newark Auto Body. They are focused on doing one thing, collision repair, very, very well. The repairs get into the production workflow faster, and the repairs tend to be completed more quickly than other body shops. They use environmentally friendly water-based paints, and they are veteran-owned. Their owner, David Young, was a U.S. Marine, and many of the shop techs have served in the military, so they often participate in fundraisers and drives which benefit veterans and their families. They're family-owned and operated, like I said, 3 generations of Dave's family work in the shops in all different types of capacities. They are local business, of course. They are not part of any chain or franchise. And the best part, they love animals. They have 5 regular office pets, and employees get to bring their pets in as well. So make sure you check out the Facebook page to see all the furry friends. They support all the local sports teams, professional events, scouts, boxcar derbies, and local animal shelters with gifts and money donations. Truly a local business. Go support Newark Auto Body. They invest in the community because it is their home. They have 2 locations, Newark Auto Body and Zanesville Auto Body. All right, welcome into the Orange is Oranger, Cleveland Browns podcast. We have an old friend again, Tyvis here, just a regular on the pod these days.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing him soon, actually, once OTA start. Hopefully I'll make it out to a practice and I get to see this man.
We have the general, everybody, of the 100 Years' War. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tony Grossi.
Tony Grossi!
Hey. Hello, Holly. Hello, Tyvis. Nice to be with you.
Glad to have you here. How you doing, Tony? Are you back in football mode right now? Like, how are you feeling? Like, what's
the season started on Monday.
Yeah,
it's the opener, the opening day of off-season program, and all that comes with that. It's really turning the page totally to 2024. So I feel like we're in football mode.
Tony, are you like surprised that the AB and Kevin haven't got their extensions signed yet?
I'm not surprised. I don't. It's inevitable. The Haslams 3 weeks ago confirmed they're getting new deals. I don't know what the holdup is. I don't think it's anything to worry about. I think they, along with Paul DePodesta, will continue on parallel tracks. They'll all be with contracts that extend the same amount of years.
Tony, I'm going to ask you a very important question. Way more important than Tyvis's. And this is how we're starting off. This is very important. I need to know how you feel about the new face mask, because it is the biggest news of the day.
Jeez. I laugh, but I know some people are very passionate about the face mask. I am not one of those.
Why? Why are people?
I never even noticed that it went from, what was it, gray to white?
I didn't know either.
Yeah, it's incredible to me that people get passionate about that. Now, I am passionate about the helmet. I believe they should go permanent to white helmet that they had last year on all uniform, combinations. That's not going to happen. But I heard that they will use the white helmet as an alternative. Then next year, there's like a third helmet. So I don't know. The white face mask does nothing for me. It looks nice. Big deal. I never noticed it changed, to be honest with you.
Does it matter, Tyvis, from a player standpoint? I mean, I can't,
I mean, listen, if you look good, you feel good. And if you feel good, you play good. And if you
Yeah.
play good, they pay good. So, and then with that standpoint, I mean, yeah, I mean, you want to feel sweet. I mean, honestly, when I was with the Browns, I swear the face mask was brown. I swear the helmet was orange and brown. And then it did look gray at a point, but now that it's white, I like the white. I think the white pops a little bit to make the helmet pop a little bit more. And I think that people will be happy about that. Does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? No, but I do think if it just make you feel sweeter. You feel pretty good. Just have a white face mask. So that there's something about that white.
I thought it was funny that the hype video that the Browns put out talked about a new era.
New era.
Like, I didn't know the eras were divided into the color of the face mask. I think of quarterback eras, coaching eras, GM eras, but not face mask eras. So
Yeah.
Hey,
I've been through all of them, and they went right over my head.
That's
Tony.
for all of them.
So Tony, obviously the players have reported. Miles, I don't think was there, right? I don't think he's been there. I think he's in Japan. Does that bother you? With him being the defensive player of the year, he's supposed to be the leader. Does it bother you that he's not at OTAs at the start of them?
No, it bothers me if a new player wasn't there. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it bothers me if a player isn't there who has a new coach. So,
Mm-hmm.
like an offensive player not being there while Ken Dorsey is implementing, the beginning of the new offense would bother me. Last year, Miles, I think, missed a lot of OTAs with the new coach, Jim Schwartz. I think that bothered him, Schwartz, but it turned out Miles caught up real quick and
Mm-hmm.
won defensive player of the year. But I was real loud and vocal about OBJ missing when he was when he was acquired. I thought that was a big deal. But right now, Miles and there's a number of players who it wouldn't bother me, and he's one of them.
Tony, what, in your opinion, has been the best offseason move so far for the Browns?
Wow, that's a good one, Holly. I can name you the worst one.
I think I know what
Quicker.
your answer will be on that one.
You do?
Flacco.
Right, not bringing Flacco back. The best move. I think the defense needed a defensive tackle stud, which they didn't get, but the Quentin Jefferson is an upgrade over Jordan Elliott, I think. And it's either him or Jerry Jeudy being acquired. I think the defense. I just wrote my piece for on Land on Demand, and I talked about how the defense has they've gotten such a pass for that egg they laid in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks about it. Nobody asks the coaches about it, and
That ain't true because I talk about it.
oh, you do? Good for you.
Yeah, I talk about it. I just think that the pass rush wasn't there. I mean, this whole last year, things changed. Yes, Jim Schwartz came in and he changed not just the mindset of a defense, but he changed it of the entire team. This team was much more aggressive. They was much more physical, and that defense went as that D line went. That D line was crazy in the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
and for like the last 4 games. Outside of Alex Wright, nobody was really doing anything. And I
Right.
think that got put on full display. If you're going up against a good quarterback, and I think that's the biggest difference. If you think about, they say when the Browns went up against a good veteran quarterback, they struggled. And if you look at those games, the pass rush wasn't there. That was the biggest difference. If that pass rush is there, you don't have Gnu or Denzel and these guys covering for more than 4 seconds because these guys are getting home. You go watch that Houston Texans game. CJ was in that pocket pretty comfortably, and if you allow a guy like that to stand in there and deliver that football, he gonna do it all day long. So
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest difference, and I think that D line was the one that let him down the most.
I agree. That's why I answered with Quentin Jefferson. He had 6 sacks with the Jets last year from the tackle position, and he and Tomlinson together, I think, will be an improvement over Jordan Elliott.
That I love Q. I played with Q. Q was actually a rookie with me in Seattle my rookie year. We both came
Wow.
in the same year. So he was drafted, though I was
Yeah.
undrafted. So that was the biggest difference.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about, speaking of draft, the draft is coming up next week.
Right.
What position do you think that they take, at 54? And I know they got like 6 or 7 picks. Do you believe that they actually will select 6 or 7 players?
I hope not. I hope they trade the 2 7th-round picks for a 7th-rounder in 2029 or something. Those get tedious on Saturday. I still think with a week to go, I still think the best player that's going to be left for them is going to be a wide receiver. But I've seen some recent mock drafts that there's like an incredible run on wide receivers just before their pick at 54. If that happens, I think he's trading down again, which is going to be frustrating to everybody. And if he trades down, I think he takes the defensive tackle, probably. But if he doesn't trade down, I still think a receiver would be the top player there.
Tony, are you going to the draft?
The draft for us is in Berea. It doesn't matter where the New York.
I didn't know because it was in Detroit since it's going to be
Holly,
closer.
I didn't even go to the draft downtown when it was in
You
Cleveland.
didn't?
Wow.
Stay in Berea. That's the epicenter for.
That's funny because I'll be in Berea too, actually. I'll be
I'll see you there.
Me, Nathan, and I think Ken is doing the Browns radio.
Let's hope they don't trade that second pick because whoa, man, what a long night that was he's done it twice already. He'll probably do it again.
Non-related Browns question. Bill Belichick was on Pat McAfee today, Tony,
Oh,
and he was
wow.
talking about I know he's going to be a draft analyst for McAfee during the draft.
What a pairing.
I know. He actually was like really relatable. He was on he had like, all the trophies in the back. He was actually pretty like smiley and cheery.
Yeah.
And I know, very interesting that they're getting him. And again, not a Browns question, but what are your thoughts on him not landing anywhere?
Yeah, and I haven't caught up to that story. Apparently there was an ESPN story which detailed the behind the scenes of why he didn't end up in Atlanta, right? And Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, talked to Arthur what's his name? Arthur
Blank,
the owner of the Falcons.
He said, don't do it, basically, right?
He's basically said, just don't trust them. I don't know if it's true, but it just seems like Belichick's really taken some hits since the offseason, since the season ended. That documentary, the series, the Dynasty. So anyway, I'm surprised. I've seen this side of Belichick that you just mentioned. I think he's going to be great if he links up with the Manning cast this year. He can be one of the most insightful people ever on football. I've seen it. I've heard it. He's usually like that at Super Bowls when the Patriots, they were at Super Bowls 9 times under him. And I've been to most of them when they were there, and he's incredible. So he's got it in him to talk about other teams and other people and other places and stuff. He is over 70. His track record the last 5 years without Brady awful.
Yeah.
So he may not coach again. He may not. You know what I would have done, Tyvis? What do you think about this? If I were Kyle Shanahan, once the season ended, I would have said, be my defensive coordinator for 1 year. Let's get a Super Bowl, keep you involved in the league. Would you do it? Because if he joined the Niners as defense, because they made a change, they lost the coordinator.
They lost, what was his name? Who was they dang defensive coordinator?
Yeah, it escapes me.
Oh my God, he was a head coach, and then he oh my goodness.
Was it did he become a head coach?
No, I don't think so. Hold on.
Oh, who is it? No, that's the new one, Nick Sorensen.
Yeah, hey, Nick, Nick was my special teams. He was the special teams. He was special team coordinator assistant in Seattle. Man,
Mhm.
shout out to Nick, man. That was my boy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I would have tried to entice Bill to be a coordinator for 1 year, grab another quick Super Bowl, and that would have probably propelled him back into the ranks next year. But I understand why he wouldn't accept it, but I would have tried.
Steve Wilkes.
Steve
That's
Wilkes.
a-
Steve
Wilkes,
Wilkes. I'm just
Yeah.
Golly.
And yeah.
But I
So
knew that Steve Wilkes thing because he started the season off in like the box, and then they made him come down to the field because it was not looking good.
yeah.
And the thing is, when you got that much talent on the defense, it shouldn't be that difficult. So I kind of knew that they were going to lean towards a defensive coordinator change anyways. He seemed like he was on thin ice anyway. So that wasn't shocking that they obviously went with Nick Sorensen this season, which I think he's going to do well. I like Nick. Nick was a very good special teams coordinator to me.
Gosh, I remember Nick as a player with the Browns. Yeah.
He sure was.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
Let me ask you, Tony. This is something that people haven't brought up in a while, but it probably will come up more now that we are headed towards OTAs. Who's calling the plays this year?
Tyvis, I think it's trending towards Ken Dorsey.
Do you trust him after his Buffalo debacle?
Oh, I think he was a scapegoat there.
I agree with that. With that.
Yeah. He seems like they're doing everything for Watson, right? And since he coached Josh Allen and Cam Newton and created some things for them, I think it makes sense. I think he's rewriting pages in the playbook. The other day Watson said it's really nice to hear him speak the plays at this off-season program. It sounds like Stefanski's going to hand it off to him, and I wouldn't. I've been thinking that he will.
Do you think that you think Kevin is finally comfortable giving up the play caller because
why now? Like why now?
Because he's about to get the extension. That's why.
Yeah, he's got the security.
Well, that doesn't mean much, right? How much is the extension?
Holly,
it does, but couldn't he still get? What's guaranteed with that? Anything?
Oh, if you coaches, they get that
the money.
Yeah, they get the guarantee.
So in that sense, you're saying
he's not in danger.
But he can still get fired. Like it's not.
Yeah, but he'll still get his money, not like a player. So
right.
And he's proved. I mean, he'll get another job. 2-year playoff seasons in 4 with the Browns, one of the toughest jobs in the league. But I think it's a natural evolution of him as a head coach. Plus, he was having a blast when Flacco was the quarterback and they were playing that play action game. Watson can't play it. He's not a pocket quarterback. They're going to run him around all over the place, and that's what Dorsey's done. Look at the Bills and the Panthers offense under those quarterbacks. So he's just doing what he's told. I mean, I don't mean that negatively. He's the perfect coach for them. Everything rolls off his back. He's pretty good, but if they tell him we need a new coordinator, he'll say, "Okay, I'll get a new coordinator."
Speaking of Deshaun, obviously he spoke today, as of the 17th. Or yesterday, actually. Was it yesterday or today? Now my days are getting mixed up.
Yesterday.
Today is the 17th. Yesterday he spoke. He spoke about the injury and his rehabbing. And Tony, obviously, so much is determined on him and the success for the team this year. He quoted saying that he's going to come back even better than before. Do you believe that? I mean, I feel like, and I want to say this too, because it has felt kind of like Groundhog Day in a weird way with him, because in the sense of like, well, let's just keep waiting. Let's just keep seeing, and then he gets hurt, and then there's just, it's just not been, there's been just so many chances. And I feel like this year, obviously every year is an important year in the NFL, and it's a make or break year, but this year is just, it really is for him as a future Brown.
For sure.
What's going to be the key to success for him?
He's just got to avoid injury and play consecutive games. He played 6 consecutive games his first year after that suspension. He never played more than 3 in a row last year. He's got to stay on the field and then, you know, string good games together. He hasn't been able to do that. It's funny when he was asked, everyone thinks this is a critical year for him, the 3rd year of that contract and all. And his answer to that question was, no, it's just another year. I'm just trying to stay in the field. And I don't know if he's aware of what's going on around him or is that just his defense mechanism to try to keep the pressure off.
Oh, Tony, I think Deshaun is pretty level-headed. I mean, I think that's one of those things that he knows. Like, I think he kind of knows, but like, you gotta act like.
But also, does he? I think how much does he care? How much does he really care? Right? Like, I don't know.
At the end of the,
because he's still getting paid him. I mean,
he gonna be here for the next 3 years. So like,
you do? You think that? So he'll get 46 million every year, no matter what. His contract is unique in the NFL. There's no escape. There's no pay this before such and such date or it's null and void. He's getting 46 million over the next 3 years each year. So is there a motivation there? I think he's motivated. He's had bad luck, no doubt. But what do I expect, Holly? I don't know what to expect, really. I mean, I don't know what to expect. All I expect is more drama all summer long.
How about this? If he stays healthy the whole season, how far will they go?
I don't know.
I don't know. I know. I don't either. I mean, it's a even if he's healthy, it's still we still don't know enough.
Yo, I'm not about to sit here and let y'all do this.
Yes, you are.
Y'all off the hook tonight. I'm like, come on now, y'all. What do you mean you don't know what to expect?
What have we even seen?
What do you mean? If Deshaun plays 17 games this season, and that playbook, and him and Ken Dorsey are like peanut butter and jelly, because I think that's the thing. The biggest thing for a quarterback is once you find a coordinator that you can connect with. For like example, last year, Joe Flacco, when he got with Kevin, like they were like a match made in heaven. It was like Kevin knew exactly what Joe's strengths was, and he just played to it. If Ken Dorsey is the play caller this season and is designing this playbook, and Deshaun doesn't like to be in the pocket, like you say, and this is going to get him out in space and let him do what he wants to do and improvise and create those plays, and he's playing for 17 games, I think his confidence gets built back up. Listen, the franchise and organization, you want to play for an organization that believes in you. What better way to do that? We done went out there and got you a receiver. We got you offensive lineman. We done went out there and got a runner. You got a great running back. Hopefully he comes back, which would be my next question for you. And we went out there and even got you a new offensive play caller that fits your style. So he knows that this organization believes and trusts in him. And if you ever listen to Deshaun talk, like he is a very confident person. Like he wants to do big things. He wants to go out there and he wants to be great. He don't question a lot of stuff. He feels every play can be a touchdown. All of those things is what you want. You got that confidence, that swag. I think that's the biggest thing. Once he gets his swag back, he'll be fine. And then this guy will be capable of throwing for 4,000 to 4,500 yards, just like all the other quarterbacks. So I expect a big year out of him if he gets 17 games. I hope that's what we get, because I am so tired of the negativity around the quarterback and the Browns at the quarterback position. I just I know the guy's talented. We know the kid is talented. We know that things have happened off the field and all of these things, and he hasn't played. I just think that he just got bad luck because of the injury. But I expect if he's truly plays for 17 games, I expect a really good year from him. That's my take.
Okay. I don't know what to expect, so I'm willing to accept that. I'd like to see that, because if that happens, they'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for them not to be good, but a run game always helps, and that's where I want to go next. Obviously, we know that this new Ken Dorsey playbook is all passing, and that's what we want, the explosive pass plays. But as you know, you get later in the season, the run game becomes very significant. Will Nick Chubb get back to being Nick Chubb? And if he doesn't, who do you trust in that run game?
Well, I'm going to bring up a name that I think is going to really get me concerned about the run game, and it's Bill Callahan not being here. He was the brains behind the run game. I think they're shucking that and implementing a new run game out of the shotgun. I think it's one of the reasons he left, honestly. I know he joined his son, and that's a unique situation, but he could have left last year, and he said, "No, I'm not leaving." But I think he saw this coming, this change to the shotgun offense, and there's no run game in the league that is good out of the shotgun. It just doesn't happen. Look at the
what about the pistol?
I don't see where no,
It's downhill. He gets behind the quarterback. He can turn around, handle the ball. It's downhill.
I don't name the one team that is awesome running.
Well, the last time the pistol was really good was when Colin Kaepernick was playing for the San Francisco 49ers, and they went to the Super Bowl. So there you go.
That was about 8 years ago.
Exactly.
So I'm worried about that part of this. That's why I can't envision what this running game is going to look like. Okay, Chubb. I just did something for tomorrow about Chubb. Boy, did he do them a favor. Man, he took a $9.5 million pay cut to stay with the team.
Does that say more about him or more about the Browns and the experience he's had?
I think the Browns are suspicious about his comeback. I really do. I'm not. I think if anyone can do it, it's Nick. And I would go to the wall for him. I'm surprised that he accepted such a little package, $2 million, and change bonus. I'm sorry, $2 million and change guaranteed. Now he didn't have any guarantees left in his other contract. And if he were healthy, he would have gotten a new contract. But it seems to me like that contract that they gave him is an indication, Nick, we love you, but we don't think you're going to be the same.
So who steps up, Tony?
I'm a Jerome Ford guy. I think I'm the only one. I don't know. I think they're running back by committee. We got to see a little bit more out of Pierre Strong. Deonta Foreman, the new one, is kind of like the Kareem Hunt now, short yardage specialist. So I think they'll be okay. The guys in the running back room are not the reason I'm skeptical. It's the loss of Callahan and the shotgun, running game that Nick wouldn't even prosper in that. I don't think.
Hey everybody, it's Sam Amico from Cavs on the Break NBA podcast. Be sure to give us a listen for all your Cleveland Cavaliers recaps, analysis, breakdowns, draft talk, free agency. The list goes on and on. Give us a listen, Cavs on the Break NBA podcast.
What's going on, everybody? This is Tyvis Powell, and I have to tell you about the Cleveland Party Rentals, your go-to for memorable events and parties. Their approach is simple. They treat your event as if it was their own. They will help you alleviate the stress of event coordination so you can savor the moments that matter. They are dedicated to offering you pricing that is clear and free from hidden fees, coupled with one of the most robust cancellation policies in the industry, in case there's a change of plans. They have a tailgate package. You can lock in your games for the season or your Super Bowl party because the Cleveland Browns will be there. Or you can unleash the ultimate entertainment experience, introducing the Game Day Bundle, a complete package that transforms your backyard into a cinematic and game day paradise. It's your all-in-one solution for unforgettable outdoor gatherings. With this, you get a high-quality outdoor screen and projector with immersive sound, double-bowl frozen drink machine, a popcorn machine, 2-tap beer jockey box. Everyone gets a front row seats. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Listen, listeners can use code CLEPARTYROCKS. That's CLEPARTIESROCK for 10% off your bookings.
Looking for new insights on the Cleveland sports scene with a unique side of Cleveland sports history? Then you found the perfect podcast. I'm John Sable.
And I'm Scott Sable, and we're hosts of the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, a podcast about Cleveland sports, but not your typical podcast about the land's sports teams. Join us as we embark on a journey of sharing a unique and historical side of Cleveland sports history with the help of some former Cleveland sports stars and other historical figures.
All right here on the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Tony, does JOK get an extension for the start of the season?
I don't know if it's before the start of the season. Definitely before the end of the season. Definitely. Hats off to him. He's the only defensive player who showed up in Houston. He earned it. He became a better player this year, and probably there's more to come. So I think he'll
Tony, you on fire tonight.
Why?
So you let me get this right. All right, let me ask you this. JOK, how much do you think he makes? Because this is a franchise that for the past few years have let every linebacker walk.
Yeah.
Since I don't know when, actually. When happened the last time we re-signed a linebacker?
No, I can't think. Well, Taki got re-signed, but that was a one-year deal.
The big money.
Second contract. Contract. JOK's on the last year of his rookie deal, so he's probably barely making $3-4 million. So he's now, that's the thing. When you get that second contract, man, that changes everything, because are you recommitting, reinvesting in a player? Like some guys, you love them, you love having them on your team on their rookie contract, but you ain't going to that second contract, which is usually 10 times better than the first one. So yeah, I think he's earned it, and I think he's a player Schwartz will even use more this year.
Okay. Well, all right, let me ask you about the tackle position, right tackle, to be specific. Obviously, Jared's going to come back and he's going to play left, but what do you think they do at right tackle? Obviously, they're paying Conklin a lot of money, but DeJuan Jones really shined last year. Go Bucks, by the way. Who do you play at right tackle?
I think if Conklin's healthy, he'll be the right tackle. The question is, how long will he stay healthy, right? They're paying him. You're right. They might have jumped the gun on his last contract extension. And after he had overcome, I forgot what injury it was then, but then he had the other injury, and they're stuck. I mean, he's got guaranteed money, and they have to see if he can live up to it. And I don't think if he's healthy, I don't think there's any question he'll be the right tackle. DeJuan Jones isn't healthy either, but we'll see how he does coming back. But I think the starting tackles will be Wills and Conklin.
Tony, before we wrap up, want to ask you about the new NFL kickoff rules. Are you a fan?
I think so. I've seen some video of when the XFL did it in 2020 and 2022. I think they used that. What's interesting to me is this new merged league decided not to use that kickoff rule. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think it's great to bring returns back, eliminate touchdowns or reduce them. I think it creates some innovation there that the Browns are going to try to take advantage of. I think you're going to see 2 kick returners on every kick. And I think the possibility of cross field laterals or guys looping around, and just there's so much there that can happen for the good, because the touchback is the worst play in all of pro sports, right? It is. It's useless. Every drive starts at the 25. Every touchdown drive is 75 yards nowadays. So I think it's going to be cool, and I think Bubba Ventrone will, try to be creative and innovative, and I think it's going to be fun.
I heard he's been on the field, doing reps and wearing, trying to physically feel it, which is amazing.
Yeah. Also, Stefanski said that Mike Vrabel has been involved in
Go Bucks
discussions about the new kickoff. Vrabel, most people forget, Vrabel didn't coach for Belichick, but he played for him. And Belichick ingrained in all his disciples that special teams are really important. So Vrabel as a head coach was a special teams guy, and I think he's contributing some discussion on this. So it's interesting.
My last one for you, Tony. Does Greg Newsome get an extension after his 5th-year option?
Yeah, boy, I think this is a tough call. I really do. If they, okay, May 2nd is the deadline to give him the 5th-year option, right?
Yep.
If they do it, he's guaranteed $13.3 million next year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's the third cornerback.
Yeah.
Which third cornerback gets paid $13 million? Tyvis. That's good money.
It is that's a great one. And then you got to worry about paying JOK too. Somebody ain't getting paid.
Yeah.
I'm just
And then you asked about his second contract. You know what? I like Greg, but as long as he's here, he's the third cornerback. He's not better than Emerson, and he's certainly not better than Ward. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think somebody is going to – there's a couple teams that still need a starting cornerback. He could start for a lot of teams, okay, as a two. Not here. He can't here. So he's a kind of a surplus. I think there's a chance someone who doesn't get the cornerback they want in the draft will inquire about a trade for Newsome, and I think the Browns will listen. I don't think they're trying to give him away, but I think there are a couple teams. Watch the Philadelphia Eagles. They're one of them. And there's a couple others that might trade for him during the draft, second and third day. So
you think it's a potential that he might get dealt at this year's draft?
I think so. I don't think it. I think there's a chance. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because you could replace your third cornerback in the draft.
Whoa, Tony! Don't you do this? Don't you get me started on this because what you just said. I just said this on Cleveland show the other day. It's been so many times the Browns have put themselves in a situation that many organizations have been put in, and I've seen it go good, and I've also seen it just crash and burn. What happens is once you get once your play style get to a certain type where you're like top in the NFL in certain things, you start to think, is it the player or is it the scheme? Okay, that's what you got to ask yourself. Is this player that great? Or is it the scheme that great that he's benefiting from? Because if it's the scheme, you believe it's the scheme, then we could just go get another player that's close to him and we could just plug and play. And if he does what we tell him to do, he'll fit perfectly into this scheme. But the problem is that doesn't always happen all the time. You miss a lot. So you got to be careful, especially at the corner position, because if you don't have a good corner, it's bombs over Baghdad over there. So you have to be very tedious about how you treat those corners, because once you have a good corner, Tony, you hold on to him. You hold on to him and you love him
beat
forever.
A lot last year, Tyvis. I didn't. I mean, he had a couple.
He got beat, but he also had a pick six. He also hit you with he was the spark on defense with the energy. A lot of that stuff matters. And I'm just telling you, listen, the one thing I will tell y'all is when Denzel goes down, we got to get better at this. We going 17 games this season, Denzel. But if you just so happen to go down this season, nobody in Cleveland blinks an eye, because when you see number 0 run in there, you feel comfortable. You're like, okay, we still got G New out there, and he's pretty good. He's solid. He can get things done. And this year, he even stepped up and made some plays on the outside. So I'm just telling you, if you deal this man and Cam Mitchell becomes the nickel and Denzel goes down, I need to know who y'all are confident in going in there. That's going to be great. Give me the name.
Yeah, I see that. I agree. Tyvis, one solution is they redo his contract and give him an extension that will pay him less than $13 million, but give him guaranteed money over multiple years. That's a possibility. But $13 million for a nickel cornerback. I mean, Mike Hilton doesn't even make that, and he's the best out there, right? Would you agree with that?
He's a very, very good and productive, probably one of the top nickels in the game.
Yeah, and he doesn't make $13 million. He just doesn't. So
what about what's the dude for the Colts? Kenny Moore. What do you make?
I don't know. I don't know. I hear you, but
I just think the Browns put themselves in a situation. Listen, Tony, you would agree that They drafted this kid to be an outside corner. They forced him to play this nickel position. And he was against it, but he said, you know what, for the betterment of this organization and this team, I'll do it. So with that being said,
He had no choice,
you
Tyvis.
gotta take care of this kid. You gotta take care of this kid.
He had
You
no
know,
choice.
you
I
gotta
mean,
take care of this kid, Tony.
yeah.
Like you forced this role on this kid. Like you come on now.
I'm
Tony.
happy. I'm happy. He got a couple interceptions. He got the pick six, a big one in the Baltimore win in
He
Baltimore.
did. Yep.
But I think Matthew Stafford took advantage of him, and also C.J. Stroud in the clutch.
Yeah. He
I
gotta
think
get
that-
better.
I think
Got
the
better at that.
experienced offensive coach and the experienced quarterback, although Stroud isn't, but I think they pinpointed him and they took advantage of him.
See, I don't necessarily look at it that like they did take advantage of him and make some plays, but I'm gonna tell you somebody that they kind of pinpointed a little bit too that goes under the radar. Especially, I'm talking about the Houston game. Ronnie Hickman, they took advantage.
Yeah.
They took advantage of Ronnie. Like and it's sad because CJ kind of saved him a little bit because he overthrew a touchdown pass because that's his boy. But they kind of took advantage.
Teammates,
It was a
right?
lot of times that Ronnie was out of place,
Yeah,
which was
I know.
unlike him because he was balling before that. But for some odd reason in that Texans game,
Yeah.
he was like I don't know for sure, but when I watched the tape, I think he had a couple of MAs that was critical.
Yeah.
Missed assignments for
I
people
would
that
have
don't know
loved
what
to see
MAs
if
stand.
Delpit could have played that game.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot different. So he would have played the next game had they won too. That's the hard thing. Oh,
By the way, Moore just agreed in March, 3-year, $30 million extension.
3 years, 30 million.
yeah. So
So they
that,
only getting
Through
10 a
2026.
year.
yeah.
But
So-
Greg Newsome,
13.
3.
I think they could redo his contract and that could be the solution, but I don't think it'll happen before the draft. We'll see what happens draft weekend.
Well, let me ask you this. I know I said the G knew was gonna be last, but this one just popped in my head because it has to do with JOK. If they take a linebacker at 54, are you concerned about them not paying JOK?
Oh no, because if they take a linebacker at 54, he'll be on his rookie contract. That's the cheapest player on the team, right? So I think that, you know what? The Michigan linebacker, Colson,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I would consider him at 54.
You are the second person that I've heard say that in the past 48
Really?
hours. Yeah.
Mm.
Was the other one smart as me too?
It was another kid named Wilson or something like that.
What another
It's another linebacker.
the
I
other
can't-
one is from A&M, Edgerrin Cooper, I think his name is.
No, that wasn't the name.
No.
I swear they said this kid name was like Wilson or Wood, something. I forget what it was, but they said he like kind of reminds you of JOK a lot too.
Well,
So
Here's what I like about the Michigan. His name is Junior Colson. Michigan, I think. You
boo,
agree.
boo,
Education.
boo.
Michigan was the toughest team,
Whoa,
physically and mentally.
whoa.
Just ask Lou Holtz. And this player, Colson, was named the toughest player on the team in their in-house award. He was their MVP on defense. Man, they need another dog on the defense. Don't you agree to that?
I 100% agree with that.
Mhm.
I'll be honest with you, Tony. That stuff don't bother me. If he comes in, first of all, they got Devin Bush on the roster right now. So
Yeah.
what's one more? I mean, if he's
Yeah.
gonna come in here and be productive, he's gonna deal with a lot of hate and a lot of people gonna hate him because he went there. But if he comes in here and he makes plays, I think they'll look past that for sure.
Yeah. I'm just kidding you about the OSU thing. I think it's overplayed. Michigan, Leroy Horde back in the day. The only one who took
Oh my
Braylon
God, I gotta hear that name.
Braylon Edwards was the only one who took grief as
Ooh.
a Michigan player. And he
Yeah, 'cause-
Yeah.
had that a lot. He
did that to himself.
And, well, he caused a lot of problems for himself
He
on
did
top
to
of that.
himself.
So.
him and
Yeah.
LeBron, yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Oh God.
that's the only linebacker I would take at 54. And I don't see it happening. I think he goes before their pick.
All right. Well, wise words from Tony Grossi today.
A lot of
Let's see.
energy from Tony.
We'll have to play this back, like, when we hit training camp and see where we're at. And
Holly, this
Tony-
whole interview was off the record, you told me.
oh yeah, of course. Please stop recording. Tosh, even though you weren't. So,
So, all right.
yes.
Well,
Well,
nice
thanks for joining
visiting.
us today, Tony. You're amazing, and good luck
Thank
in Berea next week.
It was nice visiting with you guys. We'll hear from Andrew Barry tomorrow. I don't think we're going to get any.
Well, and Kevin
insight.
Stefanski's in studio. I will not be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
But are you going in to the office tomorrow?
No, because I'm going to be at Berea for the Andrew Barry press conference. But
Oh.
I want to listen in. I'll have it on my in my ear by the time it goes on. So I'll be the opening act on RBS for.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's exciting. All right.
All
Very
right,
nice.
guys. Thanks for
All
having
right.
me.
Thanks, Tony.
We appreciate you.
Tyvis, we'll see you out there soon. Get your
Sure I
get
will.
out there. Get out from outside the cameras.
Tony,
and on the field.
Tony, can we get just one good old like go Browns? Just a
I don't
solid go Browns.
Holly, I don't do that. That would go viral if I did that. I do not do that.
Oh, where is your spirit? I'll do it for you, Tony.
It's just the way we go out with the show, Tony.
Go Browns. Dog. In the words of Christian Kirk,
Yeah, dog check.
dog check.